Most open-world RPGs let you charge into a camp of bandits, absorb a dozen hits, and heal by eating 3 wheels of cheese in the middle of a sword fight. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 operates on a different logic. If you rush a heavily armored knight without protection, you will be shredded in seconds. To survive 15th century Bohemia, you have to master 4 distinct systems: managing your physical survival stats, learning the directional combat engine, navigating a permanent crime and punishment system, and exploring the map without relying on standard quest markers. Before we step out into the wider world, you should have already finished the linear prologue section of the game. Make sure Henry has his starting weapon actually equipped in your inventory screen. Your survival depends on a mindset that acknowledges your physical limits. Every swing you take and every road you walk carries the weight of Henry's inherent vulnerability. In a typical game, you only think about supplies when your health bar drops. Here, you have to complete a mandatory checklist before you even leave town. You need to eat, you need to sleep, and inspect your equipment. Start by checking your core survival meters. This diagram highlights hunger and energy levels. Keeping stats above this boundary means Henry is rested. Failing this triggers slow game time. This neglect directly nerfs your combat power and slows your stamina regeneration. Next, inspect your gear for the red damaged icon. Striking plate armor with a severely damaged blunt sword is useless. It will get you killed. Logistics matter as much as your sword arm. If you march into the woods exhausted, hungry, and carrying a dull blade, the fight is over before you even draw your weapon. When you do draw that weapon, button mashing will fail. This chart breaks down the 4-directional combat engine. 3 zones are for swings: upper, left, and right, and the bottom zone for a stab. For defense, when an attack hits a zone, time the matching input to trigger a parry. Before you practice those parries, you must follow the primary rule of early game combat: buy and wear a helmet. If an enemy lands an overhead strike on your unprotected skull, you die instantly. Your overall health pool and your character level do not matter against a direct headshot. Learning these restrictive rules force you to slow down. When you stop swinging wildly and start calculating angles and protecting your head, you stop being a victim and become a lethal survivor. Your social standing in Bohemia is governed by a reputation system that tracks every hostile act. This world is highly reactive. The way you conduct yourself in town determines your safety just as much as your skill with a blade. You cannot pay off a small bounty to reset your status. The citizens here remember your history, and their hostility is a permanent obstacle. If the guards catch you stealing or fighting, the physical punishments are severe. You will be locked in the stocks for days, or publicly whipped in the center of town. If you continue to break the law, the local magistrate will have you permanently branded. A burn scar is seared onto your neck, and from that moment on, every merchant and citizen will recognize you as a criminal. The penalties for petty theft are so high that playing as a casual criminal rarely pays off. Operating strictly in stealth or playing entirely within the law are your most viable strategies for the long term. When you enter a major settlement like Kuttenberg, you need to stop chasing generic map icons. Instead, look closely at the citizens walking these cobblestone streets. The most engaging side quests are driven by interacting with specific NPCs. You will find unscripted, dynamic activities hidden throughout the alleys. Keep an eye out for locals playing dice games in the back of taverns or underground melee tournaments where you can safely test your combat skills. This map shows the true architectural scale of Kuttenberg. Instead of a single vendor hub with one designated merchant for each item type, you will find over 7 different smithies competing for business across multiple city districts. Those dense urban streets seamlessly connect to the wider Trotsky region. When you leave the city walls, you step out into sprawling, wild forests and ruined castles that stretch across the valley. By treating Kuttenberg like a functioning medieval city rather than a standard video game level, you can fully leverage the economy and the opportunities hidden inside it. Let's review your baseline. Your character is fully rested, your hunger is managed, your weapons are repaired, you have a helmet, and avoided angering local guards. You have made the transition from a confused, highly vulnerable peasant into a capable survivor who understands the laws of Bohemia. Your next step is to put this into practice. Head back into town and sign up for a melee tournament to drill your directional parries. Once comfortable with the timing, track down the local nobles to advance the main story. Learning to eat, sleep, and maintain your gear might sound tedious at first, but submitting to these realistic rules reveals the intellectual depth of the Kingdom Come experience.